electric vehicles are often touted as clean, green, healthier, the alternative. But new research has found that may not be the case. Caroline Shaw is Public Health Associate Professor at University of Otago, Wellington, with me this morning. Caroline, good morning.
Morning, Ryan.
Love your glasses.
Oh, thanks.
Hey, Caroline, tell me what's your evidence? What's the study saying?
Basically, the study is looking at a slightly wider set of potential health impacts from moving to an electric vehicle fleet. So obviously, most research has previously just focused on exhaust emissions and said they're going to be good for health because it's reducing air pollution. And we know that actually cars impact on a much wider range of health issues than that. And so we tried to look at them in some of this paper, in this research that we were doing. And basically, we found that the impacts look quite mixed. So there are some good things for health about electric cars and some not so good things. And when you put them together, they sort of ended up about neutral for health. So we currently have quite a lot of health impacts from the transport system. It kills at least as many people as tobacco each year in New Zealand. And our research is basically saying that if we move to an electric vehicle fleet, it's likely that that's going to remain at that current level.
Right, at the current level. It won't get worse. Like the more EVs we get, the more people die on the roads, no?
Overall, we found while air pollution improved a bit, it was likely that people are going to drive more because the cost of driving an EV is significantly cheaper than driving a petrol or diesel vehicle. And because of that, that increases the chance of injury risk. So they sort of balanced each other out, and overall it was either slightly negative or about neutral.
Because you're going further to go, the bigger the risk you have, well, the more likely the chance that you'll have a crash. And also EVs you've found are much heavier. How much heavier is an EV compared to a normal car?
So EVs are somewhere around 300 kilos heavier than a comparable fossil fuel car. Oh. The slightly complicating factor there is that EVs are in general quite a lot larger than fossil fueled cars because predominantly manufacturers make larger size cars. So not only are they heavier on a kind of per car basis, the fleet itself is larger. So both of those things are likely to increase the risk of injury, severe injuries, particularly in people who are hit by them, right. Pedestrians or people on bikes.
So if you're walking down the street and there's an EV coming your way that's going to hit you and a normal car coming your way would you dive in front of the normal car?
I'd probably try and dive the other way.
Well, I mean, obviously, but if you didn't have a choice.
I think the injury issue is quite complex because EVs are also newer. So in some ways, they've got better safety features than some of the current fleet.
Hey, fascinating
but
research.
But also the increased weight.
Just as in sort of in one sentence, what's the upshot of all of this? Do I buy an EV or not buy an EV?
If you're replacing your car, you should buy an EV. But as a country, we should be looking to design cities that mean that we don't need to have as many cars, because that means we don't need to trade off health. We don't need to trade off environmental issues, and we can live in better cities and be happier.
Okay. Caroline Shaw, Public Health Associate Professor, University of Otago, Wellington, thanks so much for your time.